Welcome to Journey to Essence. My name is Bruna Gonçalves, and today we are here with a special guest, Haik Karapetian. Haik, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Today we are here to discuss something really common, and I would say that most of Christians they are looking for to hear about relationships. This is like the question number one when we go to church. We see people asking about how do I know who is the one, or how do I know if I am ready to have a relationship? How do I know if the person that I am looking for is the right one for me or not? And today we are going to discuss this with Haik. And Haik, what do you think about relationships? Like in our age, what do you think about how it should be and how it is being right now, like dating? Can you introduce us a little bit?
So when it comes to dating, there's a lot of confusion nowadays about dating. I mean, ever since I could remember, like as a kid, I've always wanted to date someone. Like ever since kindergarten, I had girlfriends all the way up until junior year. That's when I realized like this is not right. Like how we're going about like relationships is not correct. So there's a couple of things you have to know before you date someone. Like, don't even like figure out like who you have to be with, whatever. You have to start with you and God. That's where it all starts. So if you're not close with God, if you're not spiritually close with God, you're not ready to date. Number one, like if you're still practicing sin, like lust, constantly, you're not ready to date. If you're trying to get into a relationship and you are stuck in lust or something similar to that, you should not be dating anyone. Because a lot of people nowadays think like, oh, if I just get married, like I won't have this problem anymore. That is a lie. That is not true. Many people, like there's like a whole survey done where people that are married are still lusting after other women, like pornography, things like that. So they're married. Why are they still doing it, right? It's because they had the problem before and then they got married and then the problem stayed. So it just, you have to realize that it starts with you and God before God is going to allow himself to give you a daughter or a son that he has for you. It doesn't matter. This is for men and women. So start with your relationship with God. Then you have to worry about your mental health. Being in a relationship is very mentally taxing, very. So you have to be able to take care of your own mind before you can take care of another person. You know what I mean? Because if you can't, if you can't even have a relationship with God, how are you expected to have a relationship with another person that's also sinful? I mean, think about it. God is perfect, right? God is perfect. And if you're struggling to have a relationship with someone who is perfect, imagine having a relationship with someone who isn't perfect. Just think about that for a second. So yeah, that's my tidbit.
I think you introduced it amazing, seriously. And now, let me ask you something. People that are hearing this podcast, they are here because they are looking for to know more about relationships. And I don't know, maybe they are teenagers, maybe they are still too young. What about the age dating? What do you think about is the right age to start looking for something more profound with another person? You just said about, okay, you must have this connection with God first. But do you think there is an age for that or no?
I think it depends on the person, but mainly, but I'd say around 17, 18 is like a good time that you can start because, well, in America, you can only be married at 18, right? So think about it. If you're dating before like even 17, you can look at 16, like find someone, but like at 16, I don't think anyone's ready
Yeah.
to get into like a real serious relationship that is headed towards marriage. But like 17, 18, I think if you are actually like ready, Okay, this is a good thing I've heard from someone. It's like if you're not ready to get married, you're not ready to start dating someone.
Oh, yeah.
You're not ready. Because if you're dating to date, that's not dating to get married. Because in the Bible, where does it talk about dating? It doesn't talk about that, right? It talks about marriage. So if you're getting in a relationship with someone that you're not going to marry, this relationship, there's no fruit. It's pointless. So that's why you should be around 17 to 18 if you want to start dating. If you found someone that you know you're going to be with, go for it. But I do warn you that you have to have some self-control. That's why you have to have a relationship with God, right? It's your identity, knowing that you have that self-control. And you have to set boundaries. Boundaries are one of the most important things. It's not just age. Anyone could fall to, lust, right? It's very important to stay pure during the courting phase, which is like dating, before marriage. A lot of couples, like, they get engaged and then they fall to lust. That's not marriage. And being engaged is not marriage. They're like, oh, but we're about to get married. It doesn't matter. That's also a lie. So when it comes to age, there always has to be boundaries. Be smart. Be wise. It's like you can date someone whenever you want. Technically, you can. But is it wise to date someone when you're 14 or 15? It doesn't make sense. When are you going to marry this person? I mean, think about it, right? Like, the chances of you marrying someone that you get with when you're like a freshman in high school or middle school, like, it's not going to happen, most likely. And the chances of you sinning against God in that is very high as well. So for me, I'd say you'd have to be at least 17, if not 18, honestly.
Yeah, I think that too. It for the person that is already ready, that is having this relationship with God, I think that's a good age. We can see like people that has 20 something, 30 years, that is still like is not mature. So like the situation age is different for person to person. Another question for you. What about the friendship? When someone are having this friendship and then start feeling something else in church, what do you think is like the great approach for like those people? Could be a man, could be a woman. In church, should they pray about? Should they like let other people around them like know that to pray for them? Or how do you think today in our world that would like work best?
So, I guess, are you asking me, like, how do you get into a relationship? Like, if you're friends with someone in church and you don't know if they're the one? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like both of them like each other,
Okay.
but they are not sure if they are from each other. For example, they are in church, they like are friends, they are talking with each other. They know that they would like to have like something more profound with the other person. However, they are like not sure, they are like praying, but they don't know, should I bring like other people like to this like relationship to make sure?
Okay, I see what you're saying. It kind of depends. There are scenarios where God gives you insight, like, oh, this is who you end up with. But there's a lot of the time it's not like that, right? You have to kind of navigate that. But know that God always wants you to know things, right? Like he's there to guide you. A lot of the time people don't hear God. They don't hear what he's saying audibly, right? We have his word. We can pray. We have that, right? But a lot of the time people don't hear God. The way to know if someone is for you or not for you is if when you're seeking God and you're like praying about this person, there's a peace, not confusion, but a peace that comes from God. A lot of the time, we try to get into a relationship like we're trying to force something. We're trying to force things to happen. If you're trying to force things to happen, you're getting confused all the time, there's a restlessness, that relationship is probably not from God. Because think about it. God is a God of what? Not confusion, right? But peace.
Yeah.
So if there's no peace in that, and if you're confused all the time, it's definitely not from God. A lot of the times, like, we think we love someone, but that love is not love. It's actually lust.
Oh, yeah.
you have to understand what love is. That's how to know if you're prepared to be married. If you know how to love someone, that's one sign that you're ready to be married. If you don't know how to love someone and you're lusting, you are not ready to marry. There's a big difference. So yeah.
That's true. And what about what they should expect in the person that they want for be like their husband, their wife? What are the characteristics of like a wise woman for being a good match for the man and a right man for be a good match for the woman?
Well, there's a lot of good stuff in the book of Proverbs for that. It gives you a description of what a godly husband is and what a godly wife is like. Read the book of Proverbs. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Like, what I would do is I'd look at what a godly husband is and be like, okay, Lord, let's work on this. I want to become like that. It's been working. I mean, it really has been. The one thing that I've learned preparing for a relationship, since I'm not in a relationship, obviously, I have to learn how to be a good husband now before I get into a relationship with someone. If you're not learning how to be a good husband right now, or even a good father right now, or a good boyfriend right now, or a girlfriend, whatever, if you're not doing that, you're probably not ready. Because you get ready for a relationship outside the relationship. You don't learn during the relationship. You learn other things during a relationship. But you have to get the fundamentals before getting into it. That's how you do it. And the best way to do that, again, is seeking God. That's the only way to do it. God is the one who conforms you into his own image. Without God, you can't be a good husband. Without God, you can't be a good father. Without God, you can't be a good wife. It's not possible. It's simply not possible. If you think you can become good on your own, you're not ready for marriage. You're not ready for dating either. I'm sorry to say, you're not ready for it. So yeah, that's what I'd say when it comes to that.
That's good. Yeah. What about when someone find this person that they read Proverbs, they whoa, that person has everything, and I know it's her or it's him. What do you think about a lot of times women, they don't get approached by the man. So the women's end up kind of getting first. What do you say about this situation nowadays?
Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman approaching a man. I think a lot of the time, nowadays, I think men are just scared of approaching girls because they don't want to come off as weird or creepy. I think that's what it is. I've noticed, nowadays, men don't really approach girls anymore. I've noticed that.
Yeah, but you don't think that sometimes most of people are not getting in a relationship because they don't see more the masculinity, and also they don't see more the femininity, because they are changing the papers. Men, it's getting more in the other side, and women, it's
okay.
they are exchange, genders. Even though they are human, even though they are women, but women are make most of men's activities, And the same with men's. A lot of times men's, instead of being the protector and everything, they're just letting the woman to do everything because they are comfortable with this. And we can still see this in the dating since the beginning.
Yeah. So I do agree, men should not be acting like the woman and the woman acting like the man. You shouldn't be doing that. That's another thing. It's you're not ready for dating if you're not ready to be a man. Part of being a godly husband is by what? Being a husband. Part of being a godly wife is by, being a wife, right? There's roles. A lot of people mistake this for sexism. It's not. It's women were made by God differently than how men were made. That's just biology. That's science. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. But men are described as protectors, providers. If a man can't do those things, I wouldn't say he's ready for a relationship. I mean, God designed the man to be the head. Well, Christ is the head of the man, and the man is the head of the wife. If you can't really do that, I wouldn't say you're ready to be in a relationship. I mean, I would say this man is not really being a man. I feel like the culture today has stripped men of their masculinity, like really badly, like almost skinned them, like practically. And I think part of growing closer to God, it actually allows them to become manly and for women to become more like women, like actually be like a woman. So this is more of a mental struggle, which that's what I talked about in the beginning. It's like, are you close with God? If you're close with God, then you'd be working on your mental health. Part of a man's mental health is, well, being an actual man, being strong. A lot of the time, a man is supposed to be like the rock of a relationship because, the Bible describes the woman as the weaker vessel. That's why she's like the helper of the man. That's not sexist. It's just how it is. But you have to understand that as a man, you can't let everything sway you. Sometimes your woman might be swayed by emotion, a situation, but you got to be like that rock for her. If a man can't do that, you're not ready for a relationship. You're not really a man. Start acting like a man. That's like the best advice I could give. The man part of it. For a woman, a lot of the time, women in this culture, I feel like they see that a lot of men nowadays are not strong, so they try to take control. If you find a man that is able to have control, just let go. Let him be in control. If he's telling you, oh, let's go do this, like, you don't have to be like all over him being like, no, I want to do this. And, it's like, just let him lead you. A lot of women want that control because a lot of the time, like nowadays, a lot of women don't have like a father figure. Same with men. They don't have like a father figure to be manly, right? A lot of things happen when you don't have a father or mother figure in your life, mentally speaking. And that's why these characteristics come out, right? For me, I didn't grow up with my dad. My parents were divorced. And I saw that growing up, I was a little mentally weaker because I had to rely on my parent, like my mom and my grandma, to take care of me. But as I matured, like around senior year, I like took back control. How? I did it with God. Now you can see me now, like I act more manly, like I take control of a situation if I really need to. It's the same vice versa with a woman. It's like a lot of the time they're the ones that had to be in control of their life, and it's hard for them to give it up when a man comes into their life. Now there's a power struggle, there's confusion, we don't know what we have to do, and then it all becomes a mess. That's what happens when God is not in the relationship. So, yeah, that's my tidbit.
Yeah, and I think like even when God is in the relationship, when like both parts let other voices enter in the relationship. So like sometimes like I can say this like for like experience that we see. They're having like they're already praying with the other person, they are doing like everything correct, they're like putting God first, but then the other voices start getting on. Oh, when are you going to get married? Or when are you going to like do the next step, engage it, what are you looking for in your future? And they see a lot of pressure. And okay, God is in this, but we know that we want to get married. We are here for this purpose, right? But before we have any decision that we can't break anymore, we should need to analyze and see if the person that I am with, because most of people, they think that now that they are like dating, they cannot like change. They need to continue and try to fix the other person. They need to like, be the person that, okay, I see a lot of potential. And because of that, I will like, okay, I see those problems that for me is not that good, but I will try to fix that.
Okay.
We know that doesn't work. What is your like, what do you have to tell these people that they are in a relationship, is with God, but there's a lot of voices, so they cannot hear well the voice of God?
So when it comes to hearing the voice of God and like not paying attention to what other people are saying, you kind of have to be discerning. Are these voices from God? If they're voices of confusion, it's not from God. I mean, look at what happened with Jesus and Peter, right? Peter said, "No, Lord, it's not. I don't want you to die," right? Like I forgot what exactly he said, but what did Jesus said? "Get behind me, Satan." The thing that Peter said wasn't really a bad thing, right? Like if a parent is saying, "Oh, when are you guys getting married?" It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's pressuring and it's not necessarily the truth. That could be just the voice of the enemy trying to confuse you. That's why you have to have a lot of discernment in a relationship. That's why you have to be prepared before the relationship by knowing the voice of God. Knowing how to get rid of that sound, go into the secret place, talk to God, know what God wants. That's how you do it. You do it before the relationship. But if you're already stuck in a relationship and this is happening, what I would say is change is not dependent on you changing another person. Change only comes from God. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll fix him. I'll fix her." You can't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If you're trying to date someone to fix them, "Oh, he's not a Christian yet. Let me fix him." You can't do that. It's not possible. Only God, I'm going to say this again, only God can change their heart. Period. Not their parents, not you, not anyone, not even themselves. They can't change themselves, by the way. "Oh, why can't you just change?" They can't change. That's the problem. God is the one who changes.
Yep.
So instead of trying to change this person, pray that this person gets changed. Ask God to change them because it's the only possible way to do it. So let's say you're in a relationship and this person is an unbeliever. First of all, get out of this relationship. Like for those people, you're in a relationship with someone who is an unbeliever, break up with them. I know it's hard. I know it's tricky. Break up with them. Unless God told you otherwise. Okay, if God told you otherwise, go ahead. But most of you, I am very certain God did not tell you to be in a relationship with an unbeliever. That is the enemy. That's not God.
Yeah.
But get out of that relationship. It's not up to you to fix this person. It's not up to your parents to fix this person. It's not even up to him to be fixed. It's up to God. That's number one. Number two, learn the voice of God. If you don't know the voice of God, you're going to have a very tricky time in a relationship. Let me tell you. I mean, your number one relationship shouldn't be this person you're with. It's God. Every relationship, at the center of it, it's actually three people. You, your spouse or boyfriend, whatever, and God. A lot of us think that, "Oh, a relationship is only two people." You're tricked. That's not true. A covenant of marriage is three people. See how a covenant of marriage is a trinity? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
How God is a trinity, a covenant of marriage is a trinity? Yeah. It's God in everything. It's perfection. The number three means perfect. Completion. Your relationship, what does this mean for your relationship, right? If three is perfection and you think there's only two in a relationship, it's not complete.
Yeah.
The only way for it to be complete is with God in it. So if God is in it, you have to seek him. A lot of the time, we're in a relationship with someone, but we start to put this person above God.
Yeah.
That's why you're confused. That's why you can't hear God. Because your God right now isn't God. Your God right now, I'm sorry to say, is your spouse. Your spouse is here and God is here. That's why you can only hear your spouse and you can't hear God.
Yeah, even they put like boyfriend and girlfriend as like God, you know?
Exactly. You don't want that.
Yeah, you don't have any commitment yet and you are already treating them like if they can have everything. But that's not true. They only can have like the things of the marriage after marriage, not before. You know, doesn't matter if you are already engaged, you have like the date that. It's only after, you know?
And a lot of the time, a lot of people think like, "Oh, I'm married now. This person is my property." That's not true. Not for the man. It's not true for the woman. Sure, you belong to each other. The girl is yours, and for the girl, the guy is yours. But you don't own anything. You don't own your house. You don't own your finances. You don't own anything. It's God giving you stewardship over it. So think of it more like you're taking care of this person. God gave you this person to you. Now it's up to you to cherish them, to love them, to steward them. Because you don't own anyone. My friend, you don't even own yourself. I hope you understand. This body is not mine. Bruno's body is not hers. It belongs to God. You know, a lot of the time in America nowadays too, it's like, oh, my body, my choice.
Yeah.
But it's not your body, first of all. And second of all, it is your choice. But if your choice involves only you, it's the wrong choice.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if your choice has only to do with you're wrong. I'm sorry to say, like, this might seem really bad, but it's the truth. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you saying, like, oh yeah, it's your body, your choice. You don't own your body. And it is your choice, but choose God. Don't choose your spouse over God. Don't choose your parents over God. Don't choose anything over God. Because God is the one who gave you your body, your spouse, your house. If you can't put God where he belongs, the rest of your life is gonna just evaporate, honestly. Like nothing's gonna feel stable. You're gonna be confused all the time. You're not gonna know what to do, and you're gonna be confused as to why this is happening to you. Let me tell you, if this is you, it's because you have a different God. Jesus is not your God right now. I don't know who is your God right now. It could be your phone. It could be your spouse. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if God is not the center of your whole life, not just in your relationship, but your whole life, the voices from other people are going to be louder. The voices of your spouse is going to be even louder than God. And you're not going to know what God wants. All you're going to know is what other people want, but you don't know the opinion of the Creator. That's a big problem. If you want to have a successful life, you need to know what God wants. It's true. That's why you have to read the Word every day. That's why you have to pray every day without fail. Why? Not because it's a chore or a to-do list. No, it's because why do you eat food every day? Why do you drink water every day? Because you need it to survive. It's the same thing with God.
Yeah.
The more you seek after God, the more nourishment you have to your spirit, right? It's the same thing with food, right? It's like, oh, I eat this. Why? It gives me energy. It fuels me. Like I can go out. I don't feel bad all the time. Why? Because you ate the food, right? The Word of God is the exact same way. People think that, oh, my life is going to be super different when I get a spouse. No, not really. It's going to be harder because now you have a new responsibility.
Yeah.
But the basis of your life is the same. You wake up in the morning, you pray, you read your word, you spend time with God, and then you go on with your day, with your responsibilities. People think their whole life is going to be super different when they get a spouse. You know, like life's going to be like sunshine and rainbows. A lot of the time, life is harder and gloomier if you don't have God. So don't get this really big expectation like, oh, the relationship's going to save me. My friend, only Jesus can save you, not a wife, not a husband. Get that out of your mind. It's not true. A lot of people have like they read too many like romance novels, so they just have like this crazy expectation. None of those romance novels are real life.
Yeah.
None of them are true. They don't talk about the things that happen behind doors, like day-to-day life. They don't talk about that. Why? Because it takes away from the imagination, the fun, whatever. You're going to realize that marriage is a lot more disappointing than you think it's going to be. But it's still a blessing. Don't get me wrong. Marriage is a blessing from God. It's an amazing thing to steward. But a lot of people make it a God.
Yeah.
They make the person a God, but a lot of people make the idol of marriage, just the idea of marriage into a God. That's even worse. Honestly, that's even worse. Making a person a God is one thing, but making the idea of marriage a God is even worse.
Yeah.
So long story short, make Jesus your God, not anyone else.
Yeah. You speak it like everything. Seriously. Like what we have seen is like people put like their idealization of what they want for like their spouse, and they put like this whole like person in another person that is not the one that they think they are. You know, they make it their God, and they like cannot see that the person that they want is not the person that they are dating with. And if you cannot see it, you are going to have trouble like in marriage. Like he said, marriage is a blessing. but we will have like a lot of difficulties. If you have God, you're gonna be okay, because God will give you like the wisdom to like go through all the situations that it's gonna have. But if you are with God, you are gonna be fine. If you are not with God, then you need to take care, because like, one thing is sure: if God is in the situation, if God is with you, with your spouse, or if your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, you know that, okay, this is the right thing to do. If not, you end up making mistakes. And these mistakes in a relationship like boyfriend and girlfriend, okay, you're gonna break up, and you wish you like have not have a connection with them yet. You have not become one yet, but once you have like get into marriage, what is gonna happen? You're gonna break up, and then you're gonna like, what happened if you have children? What happened like with all your whole life? It's another situation. That's why you need to like take care before, like analyze well, and know, about what you want for your life, because like it's two complete people, entering in a relationship. So you need to know what you want, okay, and you need to be like open to receive what the other person also want, because it's like a completion. I am full, but you complete me, because like, not because I am missing something, but you make my life more beautiful, more like more full, like, I don't know how to describe this, but you can feel the difference when you are a person that is full in God, and when you are a person that is missing something inside. When you are in a relationship, it's totally different. Hike, I have like more two questions for you.
Okay.
Like, relating to like boundaries. Like, they are in a relationship, they have boundaries, especially women. Women usually have more boundaries than men. What do you say about the guys that are like, the women's put like, okay, we're not have cases like before like engagement, or even before like get married, and other kind of things. We're not going to stay in the same place alone if there is no one like inside. And what do you think about the man when he don't have respect the boundaries?
You should not be with this man. If he doesn't respect your boundaries, I don't know. You gotta have a sit down and have a talk with this guy. If it was me, I agree with the boundaries, like not being alone with this person in a house, especially at nighttime. This is not wisdom. Like for me, I think I'd be fine, but you have to think about the other person. If this person's like, oh, I struggle with this a lot, I don't want to be alone with you, I need someone else with us just in case. That's wisdom. Even if you think you have the best self-control ever, it's still wisdom to have someone with you. If someone is not respecting you in this relationship before you're even married, do you really think they'll respect you when you're married? A lot of the time, people don't know how to respect themselves. That's why they get into a relationship that they shouldn't be with, like in at all, with people that they don't get along with, but they just don't respect themselves enough, and they're like, oh, but like, what if this? Like, no, come on, respect yourself. You're worth so much to God. Why would you throw away your worth to be with someone that's not worth it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if someone is not respecting your boundaries, do not be with this person. Get away from them. Let me put it this way. If they make a mistake, that's one thing. But if they're continuously, every day, doing the same mistake, it's not a mistake. Once in a while, messing up the boundary thing is one thing. But doing it every single day, that's no longer a mistake. That's them not respecting you, not respecting themselves, and not respecting God. If they really loved you, and if they really loved God, they would respect your boundaries. Period. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you. And the last question, so we can conclude this episode, is what a man should look for in a godly woman, and what a woman should look for in a godly man.
Well, you first have to look for God. Because a lot of the time I've noticed in life, if you actively seek after a woman or a man, you don't really find them. Like I've noticed that if you're really looking, you're not going to find them. But I've noticed like if you find God, everything else will come into place. It won't be difficult to find this person. God wants you to be with someone. If you have the desire to be married, that desire is from God. Let me tell you something. Satan doesn't want you to be married. Satan, if you are married, he wants a divorce. Satan is scared of marriage because it's the story of God, basically. Because think about it, God is a Trinity. God is a covenant. God is complete in himself. That is, a marriage is literally a representation of who God is in himself. Do you think Satan wants you to have that covenant? Of course he doesn't. Does God want you to have that covenant if you want it? Of course he does. A lot of people be like, oh, like, what if Satan wants me to be married? Like, no. Like, you're overthinking this. He doesn't want marriage. He wants you to be alone. He wants you to be weak. He wants you to be stuck in sin, not stuck in marriage.
Yeah.
He does not want that. So my greatest advice is, if you find God first, you will start to understand what you're looking for in a woman or in a man. But it all starts with God. A lot of people think like, okay, I found God. Now let me move on from that and then go find a person. But then you forget God. You miss the point. Finding God is so important that you have to seek him every day. Even when you have a wife, even if you have your kids, whatever, you have to still be seeking God. That part of your life will remain the same, unchanged for the rest of your life, into eternity. So if you can't seek God first, you're never going to find a spouse. I'm sorry to say, you're not going to find one. You have to find God first. And besides, you want to find a spouse that's so like from God that the only way to find them is by finding God. Because you can find a lot of people that are not from God very easily. All I'd have to do is go to my college, go to the cafeteria. Oh, there's plenty of women there. Easy, right? Yeah. But if you're not seeking God, you are going to be finding these people instead, right? Like you're looking for a treasure in a dump. Like you can't do that. You have to look for a treasure in the proper place, right? So seeking God, what does that look like? Going to church, fellowship. That's the places you'll find a wife, not a strip club. Would you really find a godly wife or a husband at a strip club? Of course you wouldn't. But by seeking God, you will find this person naturally. You won't have to try so hard to find this person, because why? When you're seeking God in private and in public, you are going to find these treasures somewhere. You will. So if you really want to find someone, find God. That's all you really need. The rest of it, it will figure it out on its own. Trust me. Yeah.
Hike, thanks so much for everything. I'm sure people are hearing this and they are getting so much knowledge and understanding of dating, relationship, what they should like looking for, and what they should like prepare themselves to be ready for this new phase, because we know it's a whole new world. When you are getting into dating, into relationships, you're gonna see that it's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. But with God, if you put him first, you're gonna see that everything's gonna work out perfectly. There is no one perfect. But with God, he makes the situation perfect for you. Doesn't mean that the other person don't have a mistake, because everyone can make a mistake. But one thing I can tell you, if you find God and if you have this person also connected with God, you are going to see like their mistakes. You are going to be fine with that, because you have also the Holy Spirit, and you can also forgive. The other person can do the same for you, and you, like both of you, can love each other with the real love, not lust, but love. That is like, what Jesus said, we need to love each other, So Hike, thanks so much for everything. Thank you all for listening to us. Hope you have a great day. If you want to know more about Journey to Essence, please enter in the website brunaonmission.com. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.